Hi everyone, welcome to the beautiful month of May 2019. Taurus is a beautiful, beautiful season. It is a season when the buds that appeared during the month of April 2019, when spring started, they start coming into full bloom. That is the same way it will work in our life. The seeds that you've planted, the fires that we have started in April 2019 in our life to initiate something dynamic in our life, now we start putting the structure to it all. We have to see that grow, and that is the time when we start looking at long term results of our actions. So we start focusing on only the things that serve us well in long run. We start looking at the concrete results of things that we are doing, and we start reaping the benefits in a monetary fashion, in a material fashion of the work done previously. Taurus is a very, very abundant energy. It is all about five senses. It's about a little bit of indulgence, but at the same time, staying grounded and true to our purpose, staying persistent with things, going into things with a more common sense approach, and giving up the things that are not serving us well. We start looking at both our body as well as our work in a way which will serve us better in long run, and that is exactly the time to do that. Hopefully in the same vein, we'll see the world even settle down a little bit. More earthy energy comes into our individual life as well as into the global events, and we start moving towards looking at more long term, more holistic approach to things. And our abundance, our security, our determination is supposed to take root in this season. And as the month will progress, Taurus energy is going to grow further. We'll have Mercury move into Taurus on 6th of May. We'll have Venus move into Taurus on 15th of May. So after 6th of May, we'll start seeing that the communication, the formal agreements coming through, the confirmations on things coming through on which we have been working, we start putting things to paper, we start putting things into concrete forms, in communication forms which are firmer in nature. We start forming connections with people which are firmer in nature. After 15th of May, when Venus moves into Taurus, our relationships take more long-term view as well. So if we are part of any relationship right now which is sitting on the fence, we start deciding whether to move forward with it or not after 15th of May. Earth energy grows, our persistence grows, our approach becomes more grounded in nature, abundance grows. We're looking to move away from the speed, the spontaneity, the pioneering spirit of Aries towards more solid, grounded approach to things. This is the time when things get a little bit more conservative. It is a time when common sense kicks in, and a lot of the things that we thought they used to work earlier, they do not work. This is the time when we filter out the things that are not working well for us. We are looking at getting into a situation where we start reaping the benefits of the effort we are putting. So we stop wasting our energy on multiple projects and get more focused in our approach right now. Going into the new moon that is happening on 4th of April, as a precursor to that new moon, we have a very, very important aspect that is happening on 30th of April, and you'll see that continue to be in effect for the next 5 months, because Saturn and South Node will continue to be together for the next 5 months. This is an aspect which happens once in 12 years. But in the sign of Capricorn, it has never happened before. I spoke about it briefly in the last month's videos as well, when Saturn, Pluto, and South Node, they came in close proximity for the first time since 15th century in the sign of Capricorn. As I mentioned last month, this is going to change the way our society, the very fabric of our society that we operate in. But more importantly, in our own life, the rules of the road will change as a result of that. And half of that aspect, which is Saturn and South Node together, is happening exactly on 30th of April. These are the two points and planets which will continue to be together for the next 5 months. They are asking us to release an old restriction, to change a rule in our life. An old dynamic, an old restriction, an old authority figure, an old wall is coming face to face with us once again. We re-experience an authority issue. We re-experience a power issue. We re-experience a limitation that we have experienced before in our life. But We are being raised in our consciousness this time to handle it differently. How would you handle this differently this time when you know what you are capable of? Because you've been woken up to your power. All of us, where Capricorn is in our chart, have been woken up to our intrinsic power there. The power of our words, the power of our efforts, the power of our ability to do things. And now that we realize our true power, our true capability in that area, how would you handle that situation of authority issue, of power dynamics being tilted the other way around? How would you handle that differently? Because the power dynamics have to change. We have to take the control back of our life, of our choices. And we are going to rewrite the rules of our life over the next 5 months. The shackles are coming off. We are fixing a karmic weakness in our way of running our life. We are setting up new boundaries here. Where did we in the past say yes to things when we should have said no? Where did we not put a healthy boundary with another to take care of our well-being? We are being shown the errors of our ways in the past to correct it for once. This is a major crackdown. This is a once in a lifetime of opportunity to release an old restriction. And the cosmos are supporting you to release that restriction. We are almost being given a objective look at our own behavior. It's like lifting out of your body and looking at how we are executing something. And we see the error of our ways. We see where we should be handling a situation in a different manner to become the very best version of ourselves that Saturn wants us to become, where Capricorn is in our chart. And I'll speak about each of the sign at the end of the video. We are shedding a negative attitude. We're shedding a negative way of behaving in a situation because it's impossible to progress to the level we want to progress without handling this karmic weakness, without handling this structural issue, without handling the gifts that we have been given more responsibly and taking our power back. There is no need to obsess about the situation. You've got this. South Node is where we intrinsically know how to handle a situation, but our conditioning has changed us to that extent that we do not behave in the way we should to handle it properly. So we were born with this talent. We were born with this ability. We were born with this knowledge to handle this in the right way. But our conditioning, our own restriction, our own attitude, our own thinking is stopping us from being us. It's like somebody not behaving according to their sun sign. If somebody is not behaving according to their sun sign, if you see an Aries who's not behaving like an Aries, you know there is an issue of conditioning which they need to get rid of in that situation. And this is exactly what we are being told. We are being told that there is no need for you to behave any differently here because of your conditioning. You have to wake up to your natural power, to your natural talent, to your natural childlike ability to see yourself clearly here. There's an axis of destiny which is meeting the Lord of Karma here. When Saturn meets the South Node and the North Node axis, it is the Lord of Karma meeting the axis of destiny. You cannot reach to the other side of the destiny without burning off some karma. There's an old pattern you have to get rid of for you to progress further. There's a realization that comes through of what truly matters to you and what you're giving up. What you're giving up right now by not being yourself, by not being your powerful self. Are we wasting our time on earth by engaging in meaningless activity of us giving our power away, of not realizing our gifts? So insight into this authority issue, because we all came here to live our own soul purpose. We did not come here to make others happy. It's not about living in discord with another. Not at all. Ketu is not about discord with another. But it's about realizing that you came here to live your life's purpose. And are you placing restrictions on yourself to not be able to live it fully? Are we being managed by someone versus living our life's purpose here. So we are being told to handle our gifts more responsibly, more powerfully, changing a restriction or regulation which will help us get to the other side. Not waiting for somebody else to do it. This is not about somebody else removing a restriction for ourselves. It's about creating the healthy boundaries. Where did we say yes when we should have said no? So it may not be the most pleasant of the aspects, because when Saturn gets emphasized, it's almost like we feel the restrictions more than ever. But you are being given the aspects to detach from the annoyance of this restriction right now, look at it a little bit more objectively and release it. It is a necessary confrontation with reality, with truth, with fears that needs to happen for us to release, to breathe, to be a bit more proactive in our destiny. And our ways of running life is going to change as a result of that. And it's not just that it's happening in the early part of May. This is an aspect which will continue for the next 5 months. We'll see the first benefit of that come around in July, when these two meet again during the eclipses, and we'll see the progress as a result of us closing a chapter, a karma burning off during the eclipses in July. So if there's an organizational structure in which you don't fit in, or there's an organizational structure that needs to change for you to fit in, or there's a rule that you have placed, a restriction you have placed in your self-restriction, in your self-expression, a rule that you have placed in terms of your attitude, in terms of your habit, and all of us have it. But this is once in a lifetime opportunity to release it. And that's exactly what we do to accelerate our path towards abundance. In the first week of the month, you'll find yourself on a crossroad. You'll find yourself between future and the past, where you're clearing out the past blockages and you're creating new ideas for the future at the same time. This is hard mental work. Don't give in to the gloom here. Stay on course. We are going somewhere which is on the path to our destiny. But at the same time, I can tell you that the cosmos will clearly show us that our desire action, the way we go after what we need, the way we act, will have to be changed. It will require a shift. But we'll find a middle path. As we will encounter certain conflicts with somebody, because there could be a verbal conflict as a result of the aspects that I'm looking at right now on the 1st and the 2nd of May itself, you might hit the wall in form of actual discussion, in an actual conflict with an authority figure, in an actual conflict with a rule. And you'll find a middle path in a very structured, in a very practical manner, because that's what we do in the season of Taurus. We go persistently into what we need, and we do the things that are right for us in a grounded fashion. There is a lot of talk, a lot of news, a lot of gossip, a lot of tangents, a lot of scattered energy right now. But we will focus it. We'll focus it. And we'll start fresh into the approach on 4th of May. You will be speaking up openly. You will be talking about things. It's not about not saying what you need, but it's about changing how we act. There will be some intense interaction that can be expected around 2nd or 3rd of May, but we will break through as a result of that. We will go deeper. We will go firmer. We will see clearer. We will be working harder than we have before, but we will be on our path to destiny. Know that it's an evolution. Keep a check on ego, as because of the conflicts, the ego will come back into picture. Ketu tells us to rise up above our ego and see what is in our best interest. How to change that rule to make it work for us. Because a path is getting fixed for us for long run. And no one knows it all. We are doing the best we can. Taurus is a leveling field of Aries. No one is winning. We are just moving from fire and fury towards earth and abundance. One by one, we will untie the knot. As each of our parts, our body, our heart, our mind will get it. And we are fixing our path. We are moving from a cardinal energy to a fixed energy. So plan something for the future here, look towards the future, and if a conflict is coming up on 2nd or 3rd of May, look at how that conflict is helping you change the rule and release a restriction for you to move forward. And on 3rd and 4th, you will move forward. And we come to the beautiful new moon that is happening on 4th of May at 14 degree of Taurus. This is happening in the evening on 4th of May. So in some part of the world, it could be 5th of May. We are moving from the old way of doing things into a beautiful, indulgent, finer things in life focused Taurus new moon. 4th of May new moon is a tasteful new moon. It's all about 5 senses. It's about finances. It's about abundance. It's about money. It's about assets. We initiate things that are substantial, that are material, that are solid, that are long-term, that have results on it, that have long-term output. It could be in Venusian theme, so it could be love, it could be decor, it could be an artifact, it could be an asset, it could be a money matter, a matter of resources. It's a very serene, very peaceful, very secure, very comfortable, very relaxed new moon. There are no direct aspects of this new moon. It comes after a turbulent time. It comes after a turbulent time to tell us that we are moving away from the muck. 14 degree of Taurus, where this new moon is happening in Sambian astrology, it is depicted as crayfish are groping towards land while high above the shore, a modern city rises upon the ruins of an ancient civilization. We are rising above the old way of doing things, rising above the muck, rising above the old. The crayfish is moving away from stagnant water towards more abundance. The tenacity of crawfish, the determination, the persistency to demand something that is better for us, respecting our right to own something without getting into meaningless ego conflicts here. This is a natural evolution of our society. Versus pressing forward, this is about naturally evolving into a situation because we know better now. This is about taking responsibility of our situation and handling it differently to initiate something that is more abundant, more long-term focused for us. Despite the internal and the external resistance that we are feeling. It's not about a dynamic step. Taurus is the energy where we take smaller steps, but we take firmer steps. It's about taking small, many steps for a tidal shift. We are going methodically into a tidal shift. Yet, we are crawling out of the muck, we're crawling out of the stagnancy, we're crawling out of prejudice. We are moving away from an oppressive situation and not getting stuck anymore. We are not stuck in our shell anymore when we do that. Taurus is a fixed sign, but this is 1 degree in Taurus, which is not truly fixed. It has a quality of Venus and Mars. So we are looking at creating more value for us, but we are acting on it. There is an action, there is an evolution which is not getting stuck. It's not about a stagnancy anymore. It's a degree of human evolution. It's the degree of Karl Marx. It's a degree where the human mankind has to evolve out of its previous situation. We have to rise above our individual country, religion, and monetary boundaries. Rise above the pettiness as a society to move and evolve into a more abundant tomorrow. And we are seeing that pettiness very, very abundantly in the society as a result of the underbelly of the society showing up last month. We have to rise above that. The crawfish moves away from the muck towards a society that is rising above the ruins of an ancient one. So this is a very, very evolutionary new moon that is happening. We are refusing to be bullied. We are refusing to be oppressed anymore, as we have seen the light. We have seen the authority issues. We have seen the restrictions that stopped us from moving forward previously. There's a breakthrough in unconsciousness across countries and people in society. This is not about one person waking up alone. This is about us as a society waking up, and there's a brotherhood, a sisterhood beyond boundaries, beyond race, beyond religion, that we'll all experience. A common emotion is felt. And on the world events, I have to say that there might be some volatility here. There might be some volatility that brings us together. We have to break away from our boundaries here and evolve out of the old pattern. And if the old patterns have outlived their purpose, they will show up in form of us not being able to progress further without getting rid of that. We are hitting a wall, but we are evolving beyond that wall. 14th degree of Taurus is known for Karl Marx. Marx actively pressed that working class should organize revolutionary action to topple capitalism. If the resources are only being given to a few in the society, that is a model according to Karl Marx, which would not continue in long run, and we'll continue to see crisis, we'll continue to see issues in the society till that is solved. And as a society, we wake up to our earth, we wake up to the issues in the society, and we evolve from it here. As a society, we wake up to the issues that exist below the surface, which we have been living by. And we try to create a new structure, more sustainable one here. The transit that are happening with this new moon, this new moon is pretty much unaspected. There is no direct aspect to this new moon, except that we have a beautiful star of Almanac, which sits very close to this new moon, which is known for artistic fame, for popular influence, benefit from others, fame, prominence. It is known for Audrey Hepburn, for Adele. Adele just walked out of her long-term marriage, and she's a 14th degree Taurus, moving away from a situation which she thought was restricting her, which was holding her progress back. She's moved out of that situation. Similar trend in our life. If there is an old rule that does not serve us, as I said, this is a dynamic degree of Taurus. This is a degree in which we write new rules. We fix a new way of being in future for our abundance, for our well-being, for a better quality of life, for more money, for more influence, for more benefit, for more material resources. Why not? We came here to enjoy ourselves. But at the same time, we rise above being petty. We rise above being the muck. We rise above the bullying. We rise above the oppression. We rise above the authority issues. We break through in the unconsciousness across the countries, and we say no more, and we move to the other side. The transit that does come into play with this new moon comes only around 7th or 8th of May, when Sun and Neptune are meeting together, and we get more inspiration to go for this new start. This is a new moon, and Taurus energy overall has a lot of support from Saturn, Pluto, Neptune. So as the month will progress, you'll find more support come through for it, but you'll be required before you get there to release old restrictions, because both Venus as well as Mercury will be squaring Saturn Pluto South Node before the positive aspects are met. So you cannot get to the other side without breaking through the wall. You'll see that wall come through both before and after the new moon. Until you don't get through that, you cannot get to 8th of May, to 10th of May, to 11th, 12th, 13th of May, when this new moon receives positive aspects from the external planets. On 5th of May, Mars and Jupiter are meeting each other in a in an opposition. This is a very, very positive energy. Mars and Jupiter meeting together means that there is a lucky action. There's a activity that happens which results in a positive breakthrough in our life. But this is a very, very volatile aspect. From a global events perspective, even it's a volatile aspect which is happening on 5th of May. This is when we get a bit into risk it all kind of an energy, an impulsive energy. As I mentioned earlier, impulsive energy is not met with success in the month of Taurus. It's a very feel good. It amps us our confidence, which we need to get rid of old restrictions. We'll feel very, very powerful. Our desire element goes up. Our confidence goes up. You want more and you think you know how to very clearly get it. But we might take in more than we chew. We might overestimate our capacity to do things. We can get a little bit more dogmatic as well here. We'll hear a lot of energy my way or highway around 5th of May, and you'll see that in the society, and that is an energy we need to be a little bit careful with. Try less compulsive, try less forceful right now. In the season of Taurus, we attract abundance to ourselves. We don't need to force to get it. There is no chase in the season of Taurus. There's attraction. Taurus sits back and says, I deserve it, and they get it. It's not about going after things. It's about attracting things, releasing our own negative attitudes, our restrictions, our oppression, but not chasing things. Not saying my way or highway, only I can do the right thing. Try a little bit more moderate, because the more power dynamic you will reflect, the more power dynamics you will get. It will be a energy that will be rife in the society at that time. And you do know by then how to do it. But your execution will be met with ego struggle, with the forces beyond your control at the time, which could be about ego, about compulsion, about controlling arguments. So being less compulsive in this, taking the Ketu approach of detachment, our desire, action, and the way we act and our self-expression will require a little bit of shift and compromise here on 5th of May. But we will go deeper, we will see clearer, we will work hard, and we will deliver more than we have ever. We will be moving towards a more abundant tomorrow. That is the gist of what's happening on that new moon. The transit is very, very freeing. No one has to win here, but we move towards more firmer ground by keeping in mind that we have to untie some of the issues of the past. We are moving into more solid, more fixed, more long-term, more practical approach of doing things, and that will become even more evident after 6th of May when we have Mercury move into Taurus as well. So any of the new starts that you have to do, they're better done after 6th of May. If there is a new financial start, a new resource start, a new investment that you have to do, even new fashion or a look or a arts, music, creative start you have to do, they are best done after 6th of May. But you have to realize that now Uranus is in Taurus. We spoke about it in the last couple of months as well. Uranus being in Taurus now, there will be certain sudden events which will happen in the season of Taurus, and we have seen that in the month of April itself, when Sun and Uranus met together in Taurus on 22nd of April, and the few days before and a few days after are marked with sudden events, both at the global level as well as in our personal life. We'll also see Mercury meet Uranus on 8th of May this month. This is happening at 4 degree of Taurus, which is a degree of discovery, which is a degree of making sense of things. So certain information might come to light which might help us make sense of the global events, as well as help us in this new start to move forward from either the blockage we are facing or just a breakthrough ideas, a sudden information which helps us get to the truth of things. And this is the time when information pieces will start coming together. You'll see after 8th of May that things start falling in place. On 11th of May, we have Sun and Saturn coming together. That is a sign of positivity, which is a sign of support coming through, recognition for past work coming through. Certain long-term things are being set up right now, and you receive the authority support around 11th of May. And the conviction and this new start will come around 13th of May. Know that Sun is moving ahead of Mercury and Venus right now all the way till 21st of May, which means that we'll be asked to act before things are set in stone, before things are communicated. We'll be expected to do our duties. We'll be expected to pay forward in form of action before the rewards come, before the information comes, before the confirmations from authority come, before the congratulations come, before the formal information comes in an email format, which we'll be asked to pay forward right now, and we'll receive the recognition, we'll receive the positive news around 11th of May or 16th of May of this month. So continue to act in good faith right now. That's the energy. But you will receive some surprises. Some information will come to light on 8th of May, and then on the personal level basis, on a personal life basis, we might receive certain surprising news around 18th of May when we have Venus meeting Uranus. We'll talk about it in the individual sign video as well. But that's the day to, these are the dates to watch out for in terms of surprises this month. In terms of where should I look back to look at history, this is a new moon which is happening at 14 degree of Taurus. That's the degree which was also came into focus during the full moon of 6th of November 2014. So you can look back at the events of November 2014. If something ended, something negative happened, something was taken away from you in November 2014, you will see a new beginning in that area. And this is especially true if you have planets around 14 degree, which is usually around 5th to 7th or 8th born in the month. And I'll talk about individual signs and the dates in the individual signs as well. But that's a date, that's a timeline to look back to. More importantly, Saturn and South Node in Capricorn, which is a very, very dominant energy this month, and it's a dominant energy for the next 5 months, that has not happened in the sign of Capricorn. But we had this date with destiny in September 2013. So you can look back to September 2013. Did we receive any karmic event happen in your life around September 2013? Was there a divine guidance you received around September 2013 that will come to use, which will help you get over this blockage right now? I delivered my child in September 2013. For me, that was a period of faith. And that faith, that belief, that I'm almost recreating that moment. Whenever I feel that I cannot do something, I recreate that moment in my life where I was given the faith to do something that was like giving birth to something, to someone. And so you can look back to September 2013 and see what happened in your life at the time. And from a world events perspective, we have to look at the sign. The last time Saturn and South Node came together was in 1973 in the opposite sign of Cancer. And we are seeing similar events come through, but because it happened in the opposite sign, the outcomes will be different in nature. People will behave differently in that situation. 1973, as most of us know, was the Watergate scandal. Nixon was indicted for impeachment at the time. Nixon resigned in 1974. We can see a reverse of that. We can see the person right now not going in that direction. And I'm not a political or a mundane astrologer. I'm just looking at the history of the aspects. The last time they came together in the sign of Cancer, Great Britain, Ireland joined European Union. Denmark also joined European Union. So we can look at further dissension in European Union right now. Abortion was legalized in 1973 in United States. We are seeing reversal of that, or at least the request for reversal of that regulation right now. We saw OPEC challenged United States and hiked the oil prices beyond limits at the time. We might see OPEC work in positivity. They might react differently right now. So we are seeing similar themes, but because the sign was opposite, the response of people is different this time. And similarly, in our life, we are being shown something, an event which might have happened in the past is coming again, but our response is being asked to be different right now. And that's what is happening in my view from the new moon, as well as the aspects that are happening before and after. Now let's dig into each of the sign and see where we're getting a beautiful new start, where we might face some sort of restriction, and what might help us overcome that restriction. So let's dig into the individual signs now.